How will the Man of Steel fare when he's forced to contend with not his own enemies, but the enemies of Lex Luthor? Well, let's hop into the pages of Superman issue number 11 and find out what happens next together, shall we? So then, picking up directly from where the last issue left off, Dr. Pharm and Mr. Graft, along with their other compadres in the Lex Luthor Revenge Squad, had managed to take control of the Supercorp building. We learned that this was always meant to be the final stroke in their grand master plan, empowering old Superman enemies, finding the Man of Steel's weaknesses, grinding him down into dust before eventually coming to him with an offer he can't refuse: join their team and help them destroy Lex Luthor once and for all. However, that's not really what the issue is about, because we step back in time a little bit where we refocus the story on Lena Luthor, the long-lost and now returned daughter of Lex Luthor. Lena actually goes snooping through her father's old computer files to see what information he has on her. This actually serves as a nice little crash course for people who may not remember this character. How her mother is a countess, how her father Lex traded her to Brainiac so that she could be raised in the future and he could be given advanced tech. Hell, they even name-drop the Empirics Wars here in this story, which is something I was not expecting. It's made very clear that Lena as a character is lost and adrift, trying to figure out where she fits into the world and also into her father's life. Making things worse, though, is her grandmother Letitia Luthor, who never misses an opportunity to put Lex down and talk about how much he sucks, even right now when he seems to actively be trying to be a better man. Hell, Letitia basically assumed that the only reason Lena was actually working for Supercorp was to be vindictive to her father. Oh, I won't work for you, won't have a relationship with you, but I'll happily work for your most hated foe, Superman. Supercorp is actually on high alert right now because Superman had gone missing following his last run-in with Dr. Pharm and Marilyn Moonlight. If you read the last issue, you'll know that he had a fun time-traveling adventure in the Wild West. Lois had actually come to Supercorp to raise hell to Mercy Graves and everyone else who would listen. Little did she know, for once Lex and his team were actually 100% on top of things, using the super armor that they had gifted Superman to deal with his kryptonite poisoning at the end of the last issue to try and track him down. Unfortunately though, before the good guys can actually end up making any progress, the building comes under attack, not just from Pharm and Graft, but also from the inside. A mysterious masked individual, sporting the oh-so-classic lime green Lex Luthor power armor, starts shooting up the place. Lena jumps to the conclusion that this must be her father breaking bad again and trying to hurt Superman. Only, surprise, surprise, Lex is still very much in prison, and in reality, this masked individual in the power armor turns out to be Letitia Luthor, the newest member of the Lex Luthor Revenge Squad. And oh man, it's one thing for other mad scientists and supervillains to hate Lex Luthor's guts, but when his own mother actively takes up arms against him, geez, they put the capital D in dysfunction. It's after that this flashback ends up catching up with the rest of the story. Superman is at the mercy of Dr. Graft and his kryptonite claw. We actually learn in this issue that all of the different types of kryptonite on the claw are synthetic. Pharm and Graft had managed to synthesize it itself by experimenting torturously on Bizarro. And because Superman is still as resolute as ever in not wanting to join this revenge squad, Graft decides to use red kryptonite to force Superman to fly into a bloody, murderous rage. And yes, Pharm is very much aware that red kryptonite usually does different stuff every time, but don't worry, he was sure to work out all the bugs. A crazed Superman rushes to Stryker's Island to execute Lex Luthor once and for all, saying that Pharm and the others are right, that Luthor will never change, that he deserves to be punished, and that there's really no time like the present. Only here's the thing, Lex actually proves just how well he knows Superman by saying to Pharm and Graft that an angry, murderous Superman is the worst idea possible, because here's the thing, angry Superman isn't just mad at Lex, he's mad at them too. Superman, in his blind rage, actively destroys Graft's claw, and proceeds to rough him up a little bit too for his trouble. In fact, there's a good chance that he probably would have killed Lex if he wasn't armed with a kryptonite shank. Don't worry, this doesn't kill Superman or anything. In fact, as Lex says, he had theorized for a bit that green kryptonite could cancel out the effects of red kryptonite. He just never had a chance to test the theory until right now. Superman might be free, but Graft and Pharm aren't done yet, seeing as Superman won't join them willingly in destroying Lex Luthor's company, life, and legacy. They're going to just have to do it themselves by kickstarting Plan B, and oh, it's a doozy. You see, all throughout this issue, Superman has been under the the effect of kryptonite gas. That's nothing new. But Pharm says that this stuff is different, altered to the point where it can actually affect humans now in the same way that it affected Kryptonians, and now the gas is starting to seep all over the city. Superman can't believe that someone would be so cruel and so evil to attack an entire city like this just because they have a bone to pick with one man. Furthermore, why would this gas attack actually hurt Luthor's reputation? Well, funny thing about that, as Lex is forced to admit as the comic comes to an end, this killer kryptonite gas wasn't actually an invention of Pharm and Graft at all. In fact, Luthor himself invented it as a much younger man. Oops. And now all the chickens have come home to roost. And so that was Superman issue number 11, everybody, and once again, Joshua Williamson really manages to bring the heat with this brand new series. I love the extra focus we get on the Luthor family, and especially him going out of his way to make Lena a sympathetic character with wants and needs, who will no doubt be having one hell of an arc by the time all of this is said and done. Pharm and Graft also continue to be two of my favorite brand new villains. Their plans are always very creative and extra devious, as they usually end up having some sort of extra hidden component. In this case, it's not just enough to try and attack the entire city, but it's also to destroy Luthor's legacy and prove that no matter how hard he tries to be good, at the end of the day, the sins of the past will always come around to bite him and anyone who's even in his vicinity. Overall, I think I'd feel comfortable giving this one another solid 8 out of 10. This Superman book has been wonderfully consistent since Joshua Williamson took over, and between this and Action, if you are a Superman fan, you're eating really good these days. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow, and help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye bye.